Hello, my name is Marty Gray, and today I'm visiting with my friends from the Land Connection here at my farm in Watseka, Illinois. We raise crops here on 20 acres. Usually we have about 10 acres in cash crops, and we're happy to serve the Watseka, Kankakee, and Chicagoland area. Our take on winter production is mainly passive solar. For the greens and everything that go in the fall, we focus on varieties that are cold hardy and stuff that's going to last with only using this Ag 50 row cover. Okay. So that heater in particular is just used for nights in the spring when we have tomatoes in here. And if we dip down into the teens, we fire that up, we fire the fans up, and it's just an emergency heater. So there again, I really try to keep myself away from fuels. Of course, for starting seeds and things, we use propane. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to winter production, you know, there's, especially with our marketing routes and everything, we have to keep our margins as close as possible, and make sure that our input costs are down, and you know, also it just keeping us away from fuels and their prices going up and down has been a good thing. So we just try not to rely on the fuels. So we've lost, I think, 2 or 3 of these 96-foot coverings, which is a heartbreaker. One time, I think a UFO landed on it because we had one giant hole, like 3/4 of the way down. We had torrential rain that day, and so I think there was some kind of weight of rain and water that just split through the thing and just exploded the top. So our previous farm in Donovan, this particular greenhouse was on top of a hill, and I think there was a Venturian effect that kind of swept up and made the top sort of pull itself up. And so we do cover every house with a double layer now. Obviously it doubles your cost of the covering, mm-hmm. but there's a lot of reasons why we do this. First of all, the outer layer gets protected by the inner layer. So the outer layer isn't sitting on steel. It's not constantly rubbing on steel. Okay. And so with the inflation blower, we get this nice layer of dead air space, which, you know, I can't really quantify what that does as far as insulation. But I know that these houses do retain better at night. So you know, while we do see the houses dip close to where the low is each night, it's a much slower curve, it seems, when the thing is double covered. So it does get really cold in here, but it doesn't get cold right as the sun goes down. It kind of holds and holds and holds, okay. Until really early in the morning. And then once it
reduces your need to have to use the emergency.
Right, yeah. So, you know, I feel like I wish I would have double covered from the start. I didn't expect the trouble with the winds, but it sure does seem to save us a lot of headaches. So we get 4 years or more out of these layers when we got as little as like 3 or 4 months out of some of the other pieces. And that's, like I said, that can be a real heartbreaker. So if you know, if you get the chance to cover the thing double, it's great. If you get the chance to cover it single, you just have to make sure to watch your wear points and make sure that the thing is properly fastened down. So through the years, we found a lot of value in some different things. These particular fans here, we've hung these for a couple of reasons, and a lot of people will see these thinking about ventilation for the summertime. We use these fans to make a circular swirl of air. Heat in a plastic building, of course, tends to rise up and head on out the plastic. So we're trying to take whatever we heat in here, which is typically just the ground by the sun. We're trying to capture that heat and keep it moving around in here. So these fans, one set up to blow one way, one the other way, really gives us an opportunity to slow down the release of heat in here. And again, I think there's a cumulative effect. The more you can keep it in, the more the ground stays, excuse me, stays heated up. So moving around air when it's cold has its benefits just as much as moving around air has a benefit when it's hot out too. We have a couple different methods that we use in here. We had some leftover plastic we used for the kale, and we were looking to get a kale planting that had really warm roots and everything, so we experimented a little bit with using plastic for a cover on the kale. The nice thing is, we started out with a greenhouse that was very clean. Our plantings were very clean, but obviously there's some different weeds that come up in the winter that are really invasive. So what we're seeing here, I believe, is a lot of chickweed. And so on the scale of our farm, I'm here by myself all winter, and I have to make some decisions about what I have time to weed. Especially this time of year, we're getting started with planting seeds. So since everything is done by hand, a lot of things, whether it's green onions, some of the chard will survive just fine with a bit of chickweed. It's a time-sensitive thing. Yes, aesthetically, we've got some chickweed in there, but if the plants are growing above that, okay, I'm fine with that. Again, I'm the one person that's responsible for a whole heck of a lot of weeding. These guys have stuck around for a long time, had some help from family members that have moved away. So at this point, it's a huge thing for us. Our roadmap is showing to, we've had, by their graces, some good retention, but it doesn't necessarily make it easy on them in the wintertime. So the guys that work here are scrambling around looking for work in the wintertime, and that doesn't make me feel good either. So this year we put up 2 greenhouses with the idea that we have more sales opportunities in the springtime, but we also have the chance to extend the fall. So while typically our work ends middle of November or so, we're going to try this year to extend out through November and December. The guys that I'm talking about can get by with a break of a month or two, but the idea is, so our marketing spans, we do a lot of online sales, and we do a farmer's market. And the idea is, if we can get some greens going in here, if we can make some nice farmer's market, if we can get into some good farmer's markets, we can keep these guys around. So it's paramount to us to keep things going so that we have 4 or 5 or 6 farmers markets in November, December, keep going. Like I said, the online sales are a great thing too, but closing those months in, like I said, they're great guys for sticking around, but closing those months in will make it easier for me year to year to keep them around for sure. So Jeff, you had asked me about our root storage here. We have 2 different coolers that we use, so they sort of fill different roles. We have a cooler in the shop that we typically keep our roots in. That's basically just a 4-inch polyurethane cooler, again with a cool bot and a window unit to keep it cool. But this one kind of fit everything nice and tidy. So this is just an insulated trailer with a refrigeration unit on it. So we try to keep the roots at about 30, hovering close to 32 if possible. So we have, this is carrots and potatoes and everything else. And the fan's just my way of keeping everything dry. We also have tuberose bulbs in here to keep them from freezing. So last year was the year of the potatoes, so we had to find a place to put them. And since we're rehabbing our other root cooler, this is our storage for this year. I know farmers that want to keep high tunnels off of their property because they don't want the plastic flapping around. They don't want to deal with what, you know, the extra management and stuff. But in our particular case, Crystal and I were jumping into this thing. You know, our family's been farmers for a long time, but not necessarily in the vegetable business. So it was absolutely critical for us to find a way to show up at the farmer's market and differentiate ourselves. So doing these couple of risky tomato plantings through the years was our way to sort of be that hero in late May or early June and let people know again that we're here to do business. We're here to sell good products. And, you know, quantifying what doors that key open is tricky, but I mean, the simple answer is yes, it's done a lot of things to help us broaden our range of people that we serve. So at the market, you can't hold up a flag saying, "Notice me." It's got to be something you put on the table early or something you put on the table that's really nice.